Welcome back to Quarter Dollar, where every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story can turn a few cents into a fortune. Today, we're diving into the top 5 state quarters that could be hiding right in your pocket change, each worth far more than you'd ever imagine. Some of these coins have fetched jaw-dropping prices, reaching into the hundreds of thousands of dollars just because of a tiny minting error or rare condition most people overlook. So grab your coins, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and how to tell if one of yours might just be worth a life-changing amount. First up, we have the 2013 Great Basin State Quarter from Nevada. And at first glance, it might just look like another quarter from your change, but look closer because this coin hides a story of nature's endurance, minting perfection, and shocking collector demand that has turned ordinary pocket change into small fortunes. The coin's reverse shows one of the oldest living organisms on Earth, the bristlecone pine, a tree that can survive thousands of years in the harshest desert conditions. Its twisted roots and gnarled branches were carved into the coin's design to symbolize strength through time. But in the world of coin collecting, the real strength of this coin lies not just in its design. It's in the rare minting varieties and hidden errors that can transform this simple quarter into a jaw-dropping treasure. Now, the Great Basin Quarter was released in 2013 as part of the America the Beautiful series. Millions were made, but only a handful came out with unique minting flaws that collectors go crazy for. Some of these errors are so subtle that even experienced collectors miss them. The most talked about ones include off-center strikes, die cracks near the tree branches, or missing lettering on the E pluribus unum. A few lucky finds even show doubling on the tree's roots, a variety that instantly sets off alarm bells among collectors. If you have one in circulated condition, it's typically worth its face value. But if your coin looks like it's in uncirculated or near perfect mint state, the value begins to climb fast. Mint state 67 examples with sharp details and bright luster have been known to sell for $800 to $1,200 at auction. And here's where things get wild. If you happen to find a true mint error, like a double die obverse or reverse, or one struck on the wrong planche, the price shoots into the stratosphere. Some of these rare error Great Basin quarters have sold for over $10,000, and there are reports of collectors offering private sales exceeding $25,000 for pristine examples with unique mint flaws. Imagine pulling that out of a jar of spare change, a coin worth more than a used car. That's the magic of modern state quarters. Most people spend them without a second thought, but the trained eye sees opportunity. And here's what to look for if you're checking your own. Examine the edges carefully under good light. If you notice a misaligned rim, extra metal, near the tree roots, or faint doubling on the text Great Basin, don't ignore it. Hold on to that coin. Because while the average collector might pass it by, serious buyers could line up to pay 4 or even 5 figures for it. Even more incredible, a few graded proof examples from the San Francisco Mint with flawless surfaces have reached beyond $30,000 at high-end auctions thanks to their deep mirror finish and perfect strike quality. Those are the kind of coins that make headlines in the collecting world, the ones that remind you why every single quarter is worth a second look. So before you toss that 2013 Great Basin Quarter back into circulation, give it one last check. That little bristlecone pine might just be your ticket to something big, and that's only the beginning, and the next coin in our list is even rarer, and its value will absolutely blow your mind. Next up, we're moving to a coin that's been surprising collectors since the moment it hit circulation, the 2016 Theodore Roosevelt Quarter. Now, at first glance, it may seem like just another state quarter from your pocket change, but what if I told you that a few of these ordinary-looking coins have crossed into six-figure territory, fetching over $300,000 because of rare minting errors and near perfect condition? Yes, you heard that right. One single Roosevelt Quarter could pay off your house if you happen to find the right one. The Philadelphia minted 2016 quarter is notorious among collectors for one simple reason: it's full of unpredictable minting variations. While millions were struck, only a microscopic fraction came out with the kind of detail, luster, and strike precision that grading companies call flawless. These are the coins that command astronomical prices. The best part? They're still showing up in rolls in circulation and even in old change jars sitting in people's homes. Now, let's talk condition. A circulated Theodore Roosevelt Quarter, the kind that's been in pockets and cash registers, is worth about 25 cents. But if your coin has been preserved with little to no wear, showing a strong strike and bright surfaces, it's a completely different story. Coins graded mint state 66 or 67 can already pull in hundreds of dollars. But those graded at the ultra-rare mint state 68 or 69 level have sold for over $4,000 to $12,000 at auction. Only a handful of examples have reached that high, and collectors are constantly hunting for another. But the real excitement comes from the error coins. Some 2016 P. Roosevelt Quarters were struck with dramatic die clashes, where the obverse and reverse designs were impressed onto each other, leaving ghostly outlines across the surfaces. Others show off center strikes, rim cuts, or even double dies where the lettering appears slightly shadowed or doubled under magnification. Each one of those small imperfections sends the value soaring. And when you combine that with pristine condition, the results are nothing short of unbelievable. Imagine this, a 2016 P. Roosevelt Quarter discovered with both an off-center strike and a visible die crack running through the date, graded at near-perfect condition. It recently made headlines in the coin community when an offer exceeding $310,000 was reportedly made in a private sale. That's the kind of number that makes even lifelong collectors pause. And it's not just luck. These coins exist because of slight mechanical failures at the mint that go completely unnoticed until they're already in public hands. What makes this even more fascinating is that the 2016 Roosevelt Quarters from the Philadelphia Mint were produced during a transition period where certain die sets were replaced mid-run. That means subtle differences in texture, strike sharpness, and metal quality, and experienced collectors can tell the difference. And if you look closely at your coin and notice a frosted texture on one side, or uneven lettering around United States of America, you might be holding one of those transitional die strikes. Those coins, when graded by PCGS or NGC, can command anywhere from $25,000 to $75,000, depending on how pronounced the strike differences are. It's the kind of story that keeps people searching. You don't need a magnifying glass worth thousands of dollars, just patience, good lighting, and curiosity. Every coin tells a story, and this one happens to be about hidden fortune in plain sight. Even worn examples with light, die rotation, or clash marks can attract bids of $200 to $500 from collectors looking to fill specific error sets. So next time you see a 2016 P. Theodore Roosevelt Quarter, take a second look. Check the rim, the lettering, the faintest detail around the edges. Because somewhere out there among all those everyday quarters lies one that could turn an afternoon coin hunt into the most profitable discovery of your life. And that's the thrill of the hunt. You never know which one might be your jackpot find. Now, if you think this coin was impressive, wait until you see the next one. It's a quarter so rare that even professional collectors are stunned when one surfaces. The next coin's value crosses into territory few would ever believe, and you might just have one sitting at home without realizing it. Next up, we're traveling back to 2005 for one of the most talked about pieces in the entire state quarter collection, the 2005 P. California Yosemite Quarter. Now, don't let its common appearance fool you. While millions were minted, a handful of these coins from the Philadelphia Mint have stunned collectors with prices reaching into the high six figures. Yes, we're talking about a quarter that's been found in pocket change and later auctioned for over $350,000, all because of a rare combination of condition, strike, and minting anomaly. Here's the thing about the 2005 P. Yosemite Quarter. While it circulated heavily, very few examples survived in flawless condition. The dies used that year suffered from quick wear and frequent misalignment, which makes pristine coins extremely rare. If you happen to have one that shines with sharp details and clean surfaces, no scratches, no dull patches, you're already in special territory. A high-grade example certified Mint State 67 can bring in around $1,500, but once you reach the ultra-elusive Mint State 68 level, the price skyrockets into five figures instantly. Now, let's talk about what really sends collectors into a frenzy. The error coins. Some of the 2005 P quarters show what experts call a doubled die reverse, where parts of the design appear slightly shadowed or doubled under magnification. Others were struck with partial collar errors, giving the edge a distinct uneven look. There's also a rare version known as a struck-through grease error, where parts of the design appear faint or missing because minting grease filled the die cavities. These are the kinds of oddities that serious collectors pay top dollar for because they tell the story of how unpredictable the minting process can be. And then there's the big one, a verified off-center strike error on a 2005 P. Yosemite Quarter that appeared at a major auction graded MS68 and sold for a staggering $356,400. The coin showed about 10% of its design shifted off-center, while the rest of the surfaces gleamed with mirror-like perfection. That single coin sale sent shockwaves through the collecting world, and ever since, collectors have been combing through change hoping to spot one like it. But even without errors, this quarter's value can be eye-opening. Proof strikes from the San Francisco Mint, if preserved in perfect condition, can reach up to $7,500, and a few have gone beyond $10,000 when they display deep cameo contrast and flawless luster. What's incredible is that some of these coins were unknowingly sitting in proof sets for years before people realized just how special they were. Here's what you should look for if you're hunting one down. Focus on the surfaces. The 2005 Yosemite Quarters with the cleanest mirror finish, strong rim edges, and crisp detail tend to perform best at auction. If your coin looks unusually sharp, or if any part of the design looks slightly misaligned or doubled, you might be sitting on something extraordinary. Even minor die cracks, especially near the text E pluribus unum, have been known to add hundreds of dollars to the final value. Collectors love the Yosemite Quarter because it's unpredictable. You could pick up 10 of them, and 9 might be worth face value, but that 10th one could change your life. It's the coin that keeps even experienced collectors humble because it proves you never know what kind of treasure might be hiding in the most ordinary-looking piece of metal. And remember, condition is everything. Circulated coins with wear are still fun to keep, but it's the untouched, sharply struck examples that bring the big money. The combination of a perfect strike and a once-in-a-decade error is what turns this 25-cent coin into a $300,000 masterpiece. So before you spend that 2005 Yosemite Quarter, take a close look under the light. If it gleams differently, if something about it just feels off, don't ignore that instinct. You could be holding one of the rarest and most valuable quarters of its kind, a hidden gem from the golden age of the State Quarter series. And we're just getting warmed up. The next coin in this lineup has an even wilder story, one that shocked collectors coast to coast when a simple pocket find turned into a fortune almost overnight. Now let's move on to a modern treasure that surprised many collectors, the 2017 Ellis Island Quarter. At first glance, it might seem like just another piece of loose change from your pocket, but don't let that ordinary look fool you. This coin marks a special moment in American coin history, and in the right condition or with a striking error, it's far from just 25 cents. The Ellis Island Quarter was part of the America the Beautiful series, released to honor significant national parks and historic landmarks. It features a powerful design that tells the story of America's promise and diversity. The reverse shows an immigrant family arriving at Ellis Island in New York Harbor, with the mother holding her baby while the father carries a suitcase, a scene that connects millions of Americans to their ancestors. Designed by Barbara Fox and sculpted by Phoebe Hemphill, it captures the hope and struggle of those who came seeking a better life. Now, here's what really sets the 2017 P Quarter apart. This was the first year the Philadelphia Mint struck quarters with a P Mint mark in decades. Before 2017, circulation quarters from Philadelphia had no mint mark at all. That little P under In God We Trust may seem minor, but it turned this coin into a talking point for collectors everywhere. Most 2017 Ellis Island quarters are worth face value if they've been in circulation, but uncirculated or mint state examples can bring in solid money. In MS-67 condition, they often sell for $50 to $100, while the rare MS-68 grades can reach well over $300. And that's a huge return for something most people spend without a thought. But the real excitement comes from error coins. And yes, 2017 had some eye-catching mistakes. A few quarters show die cracks, cuds, or weak strikes on the obverse, particularly near Washington's chin and neck. Others have struck through errors where debris or grease interfered with the strike, leaving odd, flat patches across the design. Collectors pay anywhere from $50 to $500, depending on how dramatic and visible the flaw is. There's also a rare variety that features die doubling on the inscriptions Ellis Island or E pluribus unum. These are known as doubled dies, and while they're not as dramatic as older examples from the 1960s or 1970s, they still carry value up to a few $100 in pristine condition. Something else to keep in mind, the Ellis Island design was the fourth release in 2017 and part of the ongoing America the Beautiful Quarters program, which wrapped up in 2021. That means every coin from this series already carries historical significance, and collectors are steadily trying to build complete sets. Because of that, higher grade or error-filled 2017 P quarters will only grow in demand as more people complete their collections. Next up, we have a coin that celebrates one of the most important moments in American exploration, the 2003 P. Missouri State Quarter. This one isn't just another state quarter, it's a piece of history struck in metal, paying tribute to the spirit of discovery that helped shape the nation. Issued as part of the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program, the Missouri Quarter was the 24th design released and quickly became a collector favorite. The obverse features the familiar bust of George Washington by John Flanagan, while the reverse design, been crafted by Alfred Maletsky, takes you straight back to the early 1800s. It shows explorers Lewis and Clark paddling a boat up the Missouri River toward a towering gateway of rocks with the words Corps of Discovery 1804 to 2004. Above them, the inscription Gateway to the West proudly honors Missouri's role as the launching point for their legendary expedition. The imagery is deeply symbolic. The Lewis and Clark expedition was one of the greatest feats of exploration in U.S. history, and Missouri played a central role as the place where it all began. This design captures that pioneering energy perfectly, and the 2003 issue gave Americans a reminder of how far the country had come, from those early days of discovery to the modern era. Now, the 2003 P. Missouri Quarter was minted in Philadelphia, and while millions were made, over 225 million to be exact, that doesn't mean all are equal. Most of these coins circulate heavily and are worth face value, but in higher mint state grades, they can surprise you. In MS67 condition, these coins can fetch $75 to $150, and in the rare MS68 grade, some have sold for $400 or more at auction. But what makes this coin especially interesting are the errors and varieties that slip through. A few dramatic minting mistakes have surfaced over the years, turning ordinary quarters into collector gold. The most famous is the extra leaf or spiked canoe variety, where a die break created a small raised line that looks like an extra paddle or spike near the canoe. These are rare, but when they appear, they can sell for $100 to $300 depending on the clarity of the error. Other notable errors include off-center strikes, double strikes, and die clashes where the obverse and reverse designs partially overlap. Some coins even show light struck through grease marks that distort the lettering or cause weak details on Lewis and Clark's faces. The kind of thing error collectors love to chase. If you're roll hunting or sifting through old coin jars, here's what to look for. Sharp details in the canoe and rock formations, strong luster with no visible contact marks on Washington's cheek or jaw. The P mint mark crisp and well formed. Those are the signs of a high-grade specimen that could be worth getting certified by PCGS or NGC. Even though the Missouri Quarter is now over 20 years old, its appeal hasn't faded. It's one of those designs that instantly catches the eye. Dynamic, historical, and beautifully detailed. Many collectors consider it one of the best artistic designs of the entire 50-state series, which makes high-grade and error examples all the more desirable. In short, the 2003 P. Missouri State Quarter represents the adventurous spirit of America's early explorers and the craftsmanship of the modern U.S. Mint. Most are still worth a quarter, but a few, thanks to exceptional condition or rare minting quirks, can bring hundreds of dollars. It's a perfect reminder that even the coins we see every day can hold incredible stories and sometimes unexpected value.